Dusk is now settling in all around the Silverdome here in Pontiac, Michigan, and that's about as gloomy as it probably is inside that Cincinnati Bengal locker room right now. I suppose, Terry Bradshaw and Roger Staubach, if there is any reason for hope, we should point out that the Bengals were behind 21-0 against Seattle in their opening game. They did manage to come back in that one. But, Terry, it looks awfully bad here for them right now.
Well, Brent, what's happened in the biggest game of any professional football player's life is a Super Bowl. You do not make the mistakes. 3 turnovers, 2 costly fumbles, 1 interception. The interception down in when you do not want to come away. You want to come away with 3 points or a touchdown. Then the fumble by Collinsworth, that's another. You're right there on the 3 or 4 yard line. And then the kickoff there again. You're right down there. You just don't want to make those kind of mistakes. The Bengals have made all the key mistakes so far in this game.
Roger and Terry, we're going to come back and take a look at all of the plays a little bit later, but we do have some marvelous entertainment. Something that may even be more exciting than the game we've just seen in the first half. Let's go down now to the field and Phyllis George. Phyllis?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an exciting halftime extravaganza in store for you this afternoon. The National Football League is pleased to present Up with People in a special performance featuring music of the 1960s, the decade the Super Bowl was born. Up with People is an extraordinary educational and cultural program for young people all around the world. So without further ado, let's welcome 430 young people from 24 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, Up with People!
To bring back some of those unforgettable songs and sounds of the 1960s. It was a time of momentous change, and the music was changing too, with so many exciting innovations and instant legends. From the Beach Boys to the Beatles, Surfing to Soul, the Hootenanny to Motown, and here are just a few of the highlights. helped to put the world on wheels, and some of those classic models of the 60s were immortalized in song. Motor City had been moving people for nearly a century, and in the 1960s, something else came from here that set the world in motion, the mighty Motown sound. Popular in the 60s, many old songs came back, and new ones commented on what was happening during those times. Let's have a hootenanny right here at Super Bowl 16. Everyone sing along. Michael rode the boat ashore. Hallelujah. Michael rode the boat ashore. Hallelujah. Everybody, sing it again. Michael rode the boat ashore. Hallelujah. Michael rode the boat ashore. Hallelujah.
letter. Remember to let her into your heart, and then you can start to make it better, 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 better. Na 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 na, na na na. Hey Jude, hey Jude. Na 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 na, na na na. Hey Jude.
And as the decade came to an end, you could hear people singing.
And the pageantry continues here at Super Bowl 16. And we'll be right back with Roger Staubach and Terry Bradshaw taking a look at some highlights. But first, we're going to pause now for these messages from your local stations.
Tonight, guess who Archie Bunker's new truck runs into?
I'm going to start using you for batting practice.
Reggie Jackson. And on One Day at a Time, Barbara's surprise birthday party gets crashed by burglars. Then Alice has a really big guy fall for her.
Is there anything I can say that will get you to come down?
I'll marry you.
Anything else?
And on The Jeffersons, George plays dog sitter.
He could take off somebody's head.
Then Trapper and Gonzo bring new life to a hermit and an orderly. All tonight.
This is CBS.
I made it in New York.
Made in New York.
I made it in New York.
Made in New York.
I made it in New York.
Made in New York.
When it's made in New York, it's made by the best. From copiers to cottage cheese, New York is #1. Shouldn't your products be?
Made in New York. We made it in New York.
Thank you. I'm FX Matt, and I think I brew the best beer there is. Matt's Premium. A lot of people agree. But once in a while, we get a complaint. And that makes me happy, because I want to know when my beer isn't everything it should be. So if you ever get a Matt's Premium that's not quite right, let me know, and I'll do everything I can to make sure it doesn't happen again. I'm proud of my beer, so keep those complaints coming.
Matt's Premium. When your name's on the outside, you're very fussy about what's inside.
Ethan Allen is having an old-fashioned winter sale, a new fashion winter sale, an elegant winter sale, a country winter sale, Right now, you can save on an incredible selection of Ethan Allen furniture and accessories to fit any lifestyle. Well, almost any. At Ethan Allen, we help you make beautiful rooms.
Your Ethan Allen Gallery is Roth Brothers Manor House at Dewey Avenue and East Genesee Street, DeWitt. We're more than just a furniture store.
If you're looking for bigger corn yields, take a good look at Lasso herbicide. In 6 years of university tests, Lasso outyielded Dual by an average of 4.8 bushels per acre. Both herbicides were used straight or mixed with...
Hold it! I've got important news from Monsanto. Lasso and atrazine now come in a convenient new package mix. Either way you choose, tank mix or package mix, Lasso and atrazine gets the job done right.
Reach for the stars on TV5.
Halftime of the Super Bowl, all San Francisco, 20-0, and Roger and Terry, the key in the first half, obviously the turnovers, Roger. The Bengals just could not get back after they dug themselves into that hole.
Well, that's exactly right. The first one was the big one. The interception, it just killed Cincinnati. They had a chance to get some points. They didn't do it. It also affected, I think, Kenny psychologically, because here he was moving the football. They got the turnover. He threw the interception. I think it affects you. I know it affected me at times, and this play right here affected a lot of people. Number one was Kenny Anderson for throwing a football he shouldn't have thrown. You got Hicks, who's a happy soul right here, making a key play. He's a hero. And Amos Lawrence is over on the bench saying, hey, thank you, Lord, because he was the GOAT at that time.
Terry, you were sitting with me. You had something about the wide receiver on that play.
I saw Curtis, and Curtis held through. He held up when he saw the guy cut in front. He shouldn't have done that. Run right through him. He could either tackle him right there or knock the ball up, prevented the interception. So I think, you know, it's Kenny's fault, but I think Curtis had as much to do with it.
Then the 49ers came up the other way. Now let's take a look. Freddie Solomon moving for Joe Montana here.
Of course, the 49ers did their thing, Brent. They've taken advantage of turnovers all year. Right here, he just breaks to the outside, and Bill Walsh has been able to get people wide open. We've heard it time and time again. And who the closest guy to him is, I think, is your wife over there on the sideline, or the referee or somebody, wide open. And, of course, a well-designed play.
Terry, I want to take a look at this next play, Chris Collinsworth. It's kind of a different angle, just to see his possession and if he was indeed in control. We'll try to see if we can see it. He reached back for the ball here on this fumble.
Well, once again, Anderson's moving the ball club, and they get their first really big pass of the day, and they hit a kind of a deep curl in the zone. Both feet hit the ground, the ref's behind him, and he doesn't really see whether or not he has possession, I don't think. But I call this a fumble, and under the new NFL rules, it is a fumble.
Roger, let me ask you now about the kickoff fumble, because that was another huge turnover in this game. Doesn't this just show how jittery the Bengals are so far?
Well, it is, and that was a critical play. It cost them 3 points, and they seem to be tentative, and Terry and I were talking about it. The 49ers came out looser. They played looser during the week, and it showed in the first half, and maybe you have to play loose in this game. Who knows? But right here, it was another example of just being tentative, making a mistake, and it cost them 3 points.
Terry, quickly before we go back to Pat and John, can the Bengals come back?
They have to. Kenny Anderson has to lead them back. He has to play well. On the other hand, the 49ers cannot afford to get away from what they've done well. Throw the football, continue doing that.
Roger?
It's going to be a tough job. The Bengals have the ingredients to come back, but right now it's been all 49ers.
All right, let's go back now to Pat Summerall and John Madden.
This is the biggest lead that any team has ever had in a Super Bowl. San Francisco leads Cincinnati 20-0. And John, I know you weren't ever in this situation because you've always been a winner. What does Forrest Gregg tell his team at this point?
Well, what he has to tell them, Pat, is they can't think in terms of 20 points. They have to go in like it's 0-0 and get that first one and make them work from a 20-7, then a 14 and build on it. Now, I think Bill Walsh will tell his team, look, there's one more half. We can't pull out our tent. We can't stop now. We have to go out and continue to make things happen.
There was one point during the regular season when we were talking with Bill Walsh, and he said when he got in a situation like this, when he got a lead like this, that he would simply just stop throwing and start running the ball and keep an eye on the clock, and it didn't really matter if he made first downs. Of course, he'd like to, but he was trying to use up the clock.
I think he'll do that, but I don't think he'll do it until the fourth quarter or maybe the last 10 minutes in the game. He doesn't want to start that too soon.
There were a lot of key plays, of course, in that first half. I'm sure that Brent and Terry and Roger have discussed some of those. There is one particular one we want you to look at. We think this was one of the key plays. John?
as we'll look at it here on the chalkboard, we'll see Jim LeClaire comes in and he gets a penalty for hitting Dwight Clark late. But watch what happens to him. He'll start in the frame right here. Now watch Randy Cross. We'll just stop it right there. Now here's Jim LeClaire. He's going to get called for a 15-yard penalty. But watch what happens right here by Randy Cross. Randy Cross really clips him into Dwight Clark. See the clip? The head behind knocked him right into it, so that could have been a double penalty.
And that indeed had to be one of the key plays because it did keep a San Francisco drive alive. That and turnovers have really done it. And as we mentioned before, this is the biggest lead a team has ever had at the end of one in a Super Bowl. Your Oakland Raiders were ahead, what, 16-0 at the half?
We were, and we knew that we weren't going to stop then. We had to come back and continue to do it.
But right now, it's San Francisco 20 and Cincinnati nothing with 1 to go.
Powerful Delco Freedom 60 batter. It's not only truly maintenance-free, but even frozen in an inch of ice. It cranks up the storm.
Hot, firing, cold, cranking, dirt, fighting, road handling, money saving, hard working. AC Delco.
When you embark on an investment course, be sure you're with responsive hands who can help you reach your financial goal. The investment executives at Shearson American Express will carefully pilot your resources through unpredictable waters. For a firm hand on the helm, look to the new flagship of the financial world, Shearson American Express, bound for new horizons.
Introducing another engineering wonder, the new 1982 Honda Accord. It handles better, and to use less energy, we've increased the gas mileage. We've improved the aerodynamics and made it quieter inside. We've also made it roomier. Any wonder the new Accord is so well engineered? After all, it's a Honda.
Honda, we make it simple.
CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 16 is sponsored by Honda, manufacturers of quality automobiles and motorcycles. Shearson American Express, combining talent and resources to help you reach your financial goals. And by AC Delco General Motors Corporation, over 50 years of quality automotive replacement components.
The 49ers are back on the field already, but you're looking inside the Cincinnati locker room. No team that was shut out in the first half has come back to win a Super Bowl. Right now, it's 20-0 San Francisco.
I'll tell you, Forrest Gregg isn't thinking about statistics right now. I know what he's telling me. He's telling me, look, this is the biggest day in our life. This is a world championship. We lost the first half, but we have to come out of here and win this second half and win it big.
They'll come out firing. Joe Montana, you saw just a minute ago, had a great first half. 12 out of 18, 132 yards, the touchdown pass to Earl Cooper. The score, not trying to make any apologies or anything like that. It is 20-0 for Bill Walsh's San Francisco 49ers. One of the turnovers that San Francisco got was on a fumble by Collinsworth, and the 49ers went 82 yards to score. They had it first and goal after Amos Lawrence of San Francisco fumbled the opening kickoff. Dwight Hicks intercepted a pass. So Cincinnati has been able to move the football.
They have, and it's just been, of course, those turnovers, and it happened the last time they played also. But, you know, one thing about that is the 49ers have caused turnovers all year. I think that's a credit to their defense. They really go out there and they make things happen. They tackle that ball and make it pop out of there.
There comes Forrest Gregg. Looks like he's ready to put on a pair of shoulder pads and get back into this thing. He said, in fact, if he had known that they were going to change the rules for pass protection like they have, he would not have ever retired.
He'd still be playing.
Kenny Anderson's first half, and it's not bad, except for the one interception.
You know, and early in the game, he really did his part. You know, you talked about that Collinsworth. That was a great throw and catch, and had him down there in the 5-yard line.
Montana's first half.
I met Joe Montana's mother last night at a party, and she's quite a lady, but I am sure that she was more nervous about this game than Joe Montana was.
Well, we talked to him earlier in the week. Joe's only 25 years old, keep in mind, and the build-up to this game is, well, if you haven't been through it, it has to be a little bit frightening. But he seemed very calm about everything.
Is he the youngest quarterback that's ever played in a Super Bowl or not? Have you figured that out?
Well, no, I haven't, but somebody has, and to the day, he and Joe Namath tied. That's considering leap years and dates of Super Bowls. They're exactly the same age when they started in the Super Bowl game, and so there's a first-place tie between Namath and Montana, both of whom, ironically, come from the western half of Pennsylvania.
Joe Montana looks more like Barry Manilow, doesn't he, than Joe Namath?
Whatever he looks like, he's a marvelous athlete.
He has another record. He's been on the cover of 3 magazines, 3 national magazines this past week.
I think that must be a Bengal fan.
He didn't make the cover of any magazines. He's trying, though.
He might have difficulty with the back page. Here's Wersching. I never have figured out why he does that.
You know, what they do is they put new footballs in the game. And that football has never been used or kicked before, and they're a little stiff. So what they try and do is push it and loosen it up a little so they get that what do you call it, resiliency?
I guess. Wersching with it down at the 35. He looks up on kickoffs, but not on field goals or extra points. Both kickers, Breech and Wersching, went to the University of California. Not at the same time. Wersching hangs it high and deep, and Burser goes back to the 1. A little wedge in front, but the 49ers tear it apart. Rick Jervis. Let's look at the statistics of the first half.
Of course, again, we've been talking about those turnovers. 1 down in the right-hand corner, 3 turnovers for the Bengals, and that's it. But look at the passing. The 49ers had 132 yards to 73 of the Bengals. Total yards, 208, over twice as many yards on offense as the Bengals.
And 14 more offensive plays. First down, Cincinnati. They start from their own 17. Anderson back to Alexander on first down, and Alexander with some running room swings outside to the right. Knocked out of bounds by Dwight Hicks. A different offensive formation.
It was. I think there's a flag on that play, Pat. It came out late, right on the sideline. That may be one of those late hits on the sideline.
Base number 22.
It's against Dwight Hicks, a face mask violation. Reminds me that we have not had a chance to identify the officials. We told you about Pat Haggerty. We'll get to the rest of them in just a minute. As soon as he tells us about that violation.
Number 22, first down.
Here it is.
We'll see it right in. Now, you see him grab the face mask with his left hand there. Now, that's a 5-yard penalty, they say, because he really didn't try and grab it. If it was a flagrant foul, it would be 15 yards.
It's the first down, Cincinnati at the 35. They've been a good come-from-behind team all year long. Pitch back to Johnson. Alexander out in front. And Johnson is bounced out of bounds by Keena Turner. And Willie Harper.
On the stop for the 49ers.
You know, it's interesting. The 49ers defensively have been a 3-man line team all year. They're starting this half with a 4-man line with Fred Dean in there.
Second and 7.
We run down the rest of the officials quickly. Pat Haggerty, the referee. Al Conway, the umpire. The head linesman is Jerry Bergman. The line judge, Bob Beeks. Back judge, Bill Swanson. Side judge, Bob Rice, the field judge Don Hakes, and the alternates Gene Barth and Grover Clemmer. 2nd and 7 at the 38. Anderson looks quickly, throws quickly. Alexander, pass complete for about 3 yards. Carlton Williamson up quickly again.
You know, an interesting thing on that play, Pat. Remember the one we saw earlier, the couple where Dan Ross blocks, goes to the ground and gets up. That time he tried to do it, and Willie Harper, number 59, the outside linebacker of the 49ers, just grabbed him and held him there so he couldn't get up.
Steve Kreider, number 86, who's a very important cog in the Cincinnati passing offense, is in the game now, lined up in the backfield. What do they do from this formation?
Well, he'll shift either right or left. He shifts left and makes a triple formation.
On 3rd down and 4. Penalty markers down. Anderson will go through it wisely. He has Kreider. 1st down. They'll keep that one. 19-yard gain.
That's a great time for a quarterback. He knew the 49ers jumped offside. He knows that he can throw the ball, and no matter what happens, he can get it back. Now, here's a triple formation. 3 wide receivers. Kreider, 86, the inside person, is just running across the field on Ronnie Lott. He gets a step on him, comes under control, and gets another big first down.
Defense number 74, declined, 1st down.
The offside against Fred Dean declined. 1st down, Bengals at the 49er 40. Very, very big drive for Cincinnati right here. Curtis wide to the right, Collinsworth to the left. Pete Johnson rumbles to the 35, pick up 6. Archie Reese.
Look at the size of that Pete Johnson. Archie Reese was saying the other day that he's bigger than any of our defensive linemen other than he himself, Archie Reese.
Archie also said, that goes Dwayne Board, who lifts up, if he got tangled up with the center, Pete was almost too big to handle if he was fighting a block when Pete came by.
So he has to get off that center quickly.
2nd and 5. The pitch is back. It was to Archie Griffin, who throws it back to Anderson. He has a man wide open, Isaac Curtis. He can't get up in time to get any more, but it's a 1st down Cincinnati, and there's a late hit against San Francisco.
Now that was some play, wasn't it? A handoff and then a throw back. Isaac Curtis was down. He didn't try and get up. They have to touch him down, but it's going to be a personal foul. Watch, Archie Griffin gets it, throws it back to Ken Anderson, who then finds Isaac Curtis on the opposite side of the field. Now watch here. Now when he catches the ball, he can really get up and run with it. No one has touched him yet. See, Isaac, I don't know if he's trying to, but then that was really a spear.
It was Eric Wright who came in late, number 21. Pookie went over the top. There's Dwayne Board on the 49ers sideline. Left knee problems, it appears. 1st down, Cincinnati on the move at the San Francisco 11. Collinsworth and Curtis both wide to the right. Archie Griffin still on his feet. Archie down to about the 7, fighting to the 6 perhaps. He has replaced Alexander. Dwight Hicks made the stop. The first man to hit him.
Archie looks like he's fired up, doesn't he? You know, most of the time when the Bengals get down into this area, everyone keys on Big Pete Johnson. So they're trying to throw these keys off by either running to Archie Griffin or Charles Alexander.
Alexander had a big day against Buffalo in the playoffs, you recall.
3 touchdowns.
And now Alexander is back behind Pete Johnson. Anderson up. 2nd down, 6 to go at the 7 of San Francisco. 20-0 Niners. Pitch back Johnson. And Pete Johnson may have gotten a yard. Started upfield, was hit by a gang of Niners. Fred Dean, the first one there, I believe.
Now they're bringing in Steve Kreider, their 3rd wide receiver, so this next play is going to be a pass play. Watch Fred Dean here. He reacts down to the inside, then gets back to the outside. Everyone thinks about Fred Dean as a pass rusher, but he is also tough against the run.
3rd and 4 at the 5 for Cincinnati. They can make a first down without scoring. You think you'll put it up?
I sure do.
Curtis in motion. He's thinking about it. Anderson is going to get in.
That's what the Bengals had to do. We talked about this earlier, how strong Anderson is, how he can take the ball, and if you give him a lane in there, a pass rush lane, he'll take it. You see that hole right there? He sees it and knows that he can get all the way to the goal line with it.
He knows when to slide, and he also knows when to dive.
And he knows when he can get a touchdown.
Breech will try the extra point. Kreider will hold. Penalty markers fly all over the place. The extra point is good from Breech. Horace Gregg pointing. They'll keep that one, too.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the 49ers didn't have 12 men on the field.
A kick is good. There's the man who scored the Cincinnati touchdown, Kenny Anderson.
Again, the big thing with rushing Ken Anderson is that you stay in your lanes, that you get into his face, and you don't give him gaps in there like the 49ers did on that play. Big play by Ken Anderson.
That turns the whole complexion.
Did you know that Northwestern Mutual is offering IRAs? So? But they are also offering a special disability rider that will continue to fund your IRA in the event you are disabled and lose your income.
How can they do that? For more information on Northwestern Mutual's IRAs, call 800-528-6050. Northwestern Mutual Life, the quiet company. They're a tough act to follow.
Monday starts with comedy. Can Merlin and Zach keep Alex from going popless? Then will Private Benjamin's graduation give Captain Lewis any peace? Monday.
The violation on the extra point was against San Francisco. So Breech will kick off from the 40 instead of the 35. Bill Ring and Dwight Hicks back deep for the 49ers. Remember, Lawrence had some problems on the opening kickoff. That's going to be hard to handle. Now Breech, who again tried to kick it to the left, will have to go back to where he would have begun if everything had been legal. And now here goes another penalty flag.
There was a fight or something out there about the 30-yard line.
Ronnie Lott was one of the people involved. Guy Frazier was the bingo involved, and Bobby Leopold was there with Lott. I'm not sure if there was a referee and 2 participants or what was going on. Depending upon what they say here. Let's wait a minute. Breech would have to move back to the 35.
We have an illegal procedure with a kickoff out of bounds against the kicking team. A personal foul, number 52. After the play was over, a 15-yard penalty. We will enforce the 15-yard penalty only.
That, we have agreed before, is a good rule. A personal foul never goes unpunished.
It's a good rule. The only thing is, had the ball been inbounds, then that would have put the 49ers back deep in their territory. Now, the fact that the kick was out of bounds, those 15 yards, just let Breech kick from the 45-yard line. Now, an interesting thing here, from that position, this is a good place to try an onside kick.
Or at least bounce it, and hopefully they'll have some trouble with it. It would be easy to pop it out of the end zone from here.
I'm sure he won't do that. The 49ers have changed their kickoff return team. They're in an onside prevent now. They have what they call their hands team in there.
They've got deep Freddie Solomon and Amos Lawrence, so they're ready for this situation. They've got Lott on the far side. They've got Charlie Young in the game. They got a lot of people with a lot of good hands. There's the bouncer. And Solomon lets it roll into the end zone. Now he's still got it down, and now he doesn't. It's out of there. So they'll come back to the 20. They had it planned.
They did. They were going to get that and hope for a good roll and one of those high hops. It would amount darn near like an onside kick.
Number 88, Freddie Solomon, made a good play to keep hands off because that was a hard ball to handle.
And he knew that if it goes in the end zone, you'd have to jump on it. But if it has enough power to go through the end zone, they get the ball in the 20.
And that's where they'll start from. That is Joe Montana's wife, who must be enjoying things so far. Cash, your husband's had a good first half.
With that smile on her face, she looked like she knew it, didn't she?
Earl Cooper goes in motion, and Montana goes right to work. The blitz is on, and Ross Browner takes him down. The first sack of the day by the Bengals. And the whole thing's turning around. Ross Browner first there.
Well, this is what we were talking about at halftime. We see Bobby Kemp comes from the outside, and then they let Browner go. He takes the inside. Ross Browner coming right here, and he was a teammate of Joe Montana's at Notre Dame.
Big Ross Browner, four-year pro, one of many first-round draft choices, 10, in fact, on this Cincinnati team.
The entire defensive line are all first-round draft choices.
It'll be second down 19 from the 49er 11. Montana going deep. That was up for grab. Solomon grabs it. Well, now it's loose. It's incomplete. Lewis Breeden and Byron Hicks back with Solomon.
You know, over the years, Pat, they've always talked about teams in Super Bowl, how they get conservative and they just play defense and run things. Neither one of these teams have been conservative. The 49ers have the lead, but look at the things they're trying to do. Boom, they're going deep up, making big plays. Cincinnati's coming back. This is the way. This is the football of the 80s.
Both of them have never wavered from their statements at the very beginning. The pass is what got us here, and that's the only thing we're going to do. Cincinnati fans at the moment going wild. 3rd and 19. Line of scrimmage, the 11. And now they'll coast a bit. Ricky Patton, the ball carrier, hit by Reggie Williams first. And Miller will have to come on to punt.
There's Reggie Williams. Did he make a great play on that? He was a right side linebacker. The ball went to the other side, and he really runs the ball carrier down. Now watch him. He comes like he's shot out of a cannon there. Flattens out right down the line of scrimmage. Sprints. Now watch that tackle right through Ricky Patton. What an effort.
That's called desire. Miller at the goal line with the bare foot. Cross the center. Good snap. That'll hang for a while. This is Fuller at the 38. Mike Fuller gets it into San Francisco territory. Keena Turner made the stop. Well, now, we were talking about all those big leads and nobody's ever come back and all that other statistical stuff, but it's 20-7 now.
The new Subaru Brat has sleek, aerodynamic lines.
Just tell them it's good looking.
Front and on-demand four-wheel drive.
Say it can climb.
A Halo twin roof.
It's a window.
And it's engineered to withstand the elements.
That means it's tough.
The new Subaru Brat. Inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Just tell them it saves you money, buster.
Way down deep inside of every man, there's a little boy, an Atari fan, and without any doubt, the boy will come out when he plays a game from Atari. Have you played Atari today?
Give a man an Atari game and he'll turn into a little boy. But don't worry, he'll be grown up enough to share it.
Have you played Atari today?
Next Sunday on CBS Sports, the NBA All-Star Game. Expected to lead the East-West Clash will be the Dr. Julius Erving and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Basketball's greatest next Sunday on CBS Sports.
Here's Steve Kreider. He's going to rush the punter. Now, his first job is to rush the punter, make him kick the ball. After the ball is kicked, he stops. Now he has to hold up number 85, Mike Wilson, who's on the punt coverage team. Watch how they hold each other up. Look at this. That looks like something you see in that bulldogging event.
Hard to tell who's holding up whom.
And the official was right there watching the whole thing. You see him?
Stuckey on defense for San Francisco at the left defensive end. Alexander and Pete Johnson, the backs for Cincinnati, and now it's only Johnson. First down, Cincinnati at the 49er. Started at the 49, now it's about the 46. Over on the Cincinnati bench.
They're talking about their defense with Hank Fuller, and you see what they're trying to do. It looks like they're going to get, there's Reggie Williams, he's talking about getting more straight. Looks like they want to play their linebackers a little more tight.
Fred Dean and his group coming in from the 49er sideline. Hank Fuller, who Forrest Gregg described as having a lot of schemes.
A lot of schemes, a lot of tricks.
Second down and 7. Passing down for Cincinnati. They got a guy who can do it. Outside Collinsworth, he can't hang on. Dean is out there quickly, thinking possibly it might have been a lateral, but it wasn't.
It was interesting in that last drive. Cincinnati had a lot of success with 3 wide receivers in the game. They started on first down with 3 wide receivers, and now we see on this down they're going to have 4 wide receivers.
4 wide receivers. This time they've got Mercer and Kreider all in the game. Two to the left and 2 to the right. Johnson, the deep back. Anderson scrambles. Anderson runs out of bounds. Not much he could do. Bobby Leopold knocked him out of bounds. It's going to be 4th and about 6 or 7.
Some fan came on the field and took Chris Collinsworth's chin strap from him. Chris started to chase him. I'm sure they'll punt the ball here. They have plenty of time.
Yeah. Collinsworth lost a shoulder pad strap as well as a chin strap. Tough day, tough play for Chris.
That's what he told you the other day. He said the program says I'm a rookie, and the newspapers say I'm a rookie, but this body tells me I'm not.
McAnally in the direction of Solomon, who puts up the fair catch signal, but there's a penalty marker down. Has to be a Bengal illegally downfield, I think. 32-yard punt by McAnally.
An eligible man downfield, number 36.
Be interesting here, whether the 49ers make them kick it again or they take the ball there and turn down the penalty, which looks like they're going to do.
Well, you got the ball clean.
An eligible man downfield, number 36, decline, first down.
They'll take over at the 15. It was Jim Hargrove who was down too quickly, and Bill Walsh deep in thought. 20-7 he leads.
Ever since I was a kid, I've hated to wait.
Hey guys, Willie Mays outside!
Whenever there was a shortcut, I took it. I still hate to wait. So when I rent a car, I get a Hertz #1 Express Pass. That way I don't have to wait in line at the rental counter. I go right to the #1 Express booth where my car is waiting for me. Ask Hertz for a #1 Express Pass and stop waiting.
Michelob brings you the 7-day weekend, Southern style. The style and grace that is the South is reflected in one great beer, Michelob. That smooth and mellow taste has its own special way of saying, y'all come back and see us anytime.
There's nothing better on a rainy night in Georgia.
Put a little weekend in your week.
Yeah.
On the
Russians developing chemical weapons. If we join the race, are the risks too great? The dangers too frightening? Going after the answers on the CBS Evening News Monday.
That is Sean Weatherly, a former Miss Universe, whose regular companion is Dwight Clark, number 87 for the 49ers.
What a year they've had. They're both alumni of Clemson, who was #1 in the colleges, and here they are in the Super Bowl, leading 20-7.
Dwight Clark's had a good year on and off the field. Earl Cooper swinging to the left, swarmed on by Ross Browner. Underneath, Jim LeClaire.
This Cincinnati Bengal team looks like a different team this second half, don't they, than they did the first. I mean, they're crisp on offense, they're sharp, they're moving very well on defense.
Doing just exactly what you said they had to do and what you thought they'd do. Don't come out firing from the hip. Stick to what you do best. San Francisco has -7 yards so far in this half. 7:54 left in the third quarter. Draw play to Bill Ring. Hit down by Eddie Edwards.
Well, the thing is, we could say that the 49ers are turning conservative in the second half, but I don't believe that, because what they've had is they've really had some poor field position. I think that Bill Walsh and Joe Montana would like to get a little better field position before they start really opening up.
Now the Bengals make some substitutions. They come in with a pass rush group that includes Mike St. Clair and Gary Burley, and an extra defensive back, Ray Griffin. Will they blitz? Will they blitz?
I think they may put pressure on Montana here, yeah.
Montana rolls right to get away from it, throws upfield. That won't be a first down. It's complete to Ring. Ray Griffin knocked him out of bounds. Listen to the Cincinnati fans.
Well, they can feel it too. The Bengals came out this first half and they weren't really crisp like they are now. They got something there at halftime. As we said, they really look a lot different, don't they?
Miller again in for San Francisco, number 3. His 2 punts have been effective, 45.5-yard average. Mike Fuller is number 42. There's a guy who's glad this game is not outside.
He has to wear a sock on one leg. Did you see that little red thing he has on his right leg? They call that a sock.
He hangs another one high and chases Fuller back deep. Fuller again gets it back close to midfield. Tina Turner made the tackle. There's Mike Fuller. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited.
I'll bet every one of these players somewhere will see a tape of this game. They'll never forget this day.
Ken Anderson, who has scored the touchdown for the Bengals on a run, not a scramble. Alexander out wide to the left on the other side of Collinsworth. Anderson again tries to run. The penalty marker goes down. It's got to be a violation against Ross, the tight end, who was trying to block.
Anderson on the carry.
I'm sure you're right. That was Dan Ross, the tight end. He came out like he was trying to get a release, and then he was blocking the linebacker. I think he just held on to him. It was Willie Harper who he was blocking.
49ers have already indicated they'll take it. Sure, that comes as no surprise.
Dan Ross has really been something for this team, hasn't he? What was Forrest Gregg telling us?
Said when he first came, and he took a look. Here's Haggerty.
We have holding, number 89, offense.
I'll tell you in a minute.
Watch him here now. See, the right hand starts out there. You see the right hand? That's outside the plane of the defensive man's body. So that was holding right off the bat. His first move was holding.
And that was continued holding throughout the entire block.
That was a lock on and hold on.
Got 3 wide receivers to the left. Anderson will look for him. He has Ross wide open. Ross cuts back upfield, gets to the 49er 44. And here comes another penalty marker down. That's going to be against Kreider, who hit Ronnie Lott after the play was over.
This is one thing in the heat of battle that you try and keep everyone calm. That's what Forrest Gregg is saying. He's saying, just calm down, just calm down. We have to play.
Back to the story of Ross, who just caught that pass. Forrest Gregg said when he first got to Cincinnati, first took over, he looked at films and he looked at Ross and he said, the first thing we got to do is get us a tight end.
Personal foul.
He said, it turns out I was wrong and really wrong.
They said, Paul Brown says no. He said, don't say that until you see him. I think you'll like him.
He caught 71 passes this year.
This is a big penalty here that really hurts the Bengals because that's going to amount to close to 25 or 30 yards of penalty after the gain and then the penalty.
Personal foul. Dead ball foul. The count counts. Down counts. So it is second down.
Dead ball foul. It applies in football and basketball.
See, now Ross is down. The play is over now. The whistle is blown. Now watch number 42, Ronnie Lott. And we'll see Steve Kreider come in from the right of your screen and hit him. See, the play's all over. Lott is relaxing, and that, of course, is the 15-yard penalty.
There can be no question about that. Again, 3 wide receivers, however. It'll be second down. That down counted. Anderson into the pocket. Dean chasing and has him. Fred Dean from behind.
That was the same pattern that they'd completed before. Now watch Fred Dean here. We'll see him start up the field and just take that outside move. See, Munoz gets his hands on him. Fred Dean just keeps playing. Watch, now he'll come in and he'll get Anderson from behind.
You couldn't say that was a bad job by Munoz.
No, he did a nice job, but it was a great job by Dean, who just stayed with it. Now see the 3 wide receivers, the 3 defensive backs all running with him. Real good coverage. That's why Anderson couldn't throw the ball.
Third and long, and Anderson will try to throw again. Again, Dean in pursuit. Deep for Collinsworth. He's open. Got it. Penalty marker down. Eric Wright was back there with him, but Collinsworth over the shoulder and to the outside.
What a great catch that was. You know, Collinsworth, Chris Collinsworth can run. He has good moves in the ins and outs, but he has great deep speed. He was, what, 4'5", wasn't he?
Right.
Defensive pass interference, number 21, declined. First down.
First down, Cincinnati.
What a comeback from the Bengals. After that, they had the penalty. They come right back. You see him give a little move there that held right. And then with that next step, he was able to go up the field and right by him. And what a catch. Going downfield, looking directly back over his head. Whew, what a throw and a catch.
Forrest Gregg said we had some doubts about him. Long legs, long arms, long neck. But we kept looking at that 4'5", and as soon as we saw him in camp, we knew we had us a jewel.
And he has been.
First down, Bengals. The 14-yard line of San Francisco. This is Alexander. Trying to cut back inside. Can't do much. 49er pursuit is excellent. Jack Reynolds, the hacksaw, first to arrive.
There's Ken Anderson's wife, and now she looks happy. She does. What a great throw Ken just made, Bonnie. She looked like she was trying not to smile.
They're still behind by 13. They score on this drive. We'll see some more teeth.
A lot of yelling by these people in orange.
That's the book on Anderson so far. 2nd and 9 from the 13. Anderson will put it up. Looking, can't find any place to go. That's the 4th sack by the 49ers. He gets back to the 15 for a loss of perhaps 2 yards.
And you see who that sack was? That was Jack Reynolds. You know, that time, I'm sure. Now watch him right here in front of our screen, 64. He starts on a blitz. Now, he is going to get right in front of Anderson. Don't let him run. I'm sure that's his assignment. And you see Hacksaw come in from behind and get him. They've had enough of that Anderson running, so now they let their defensive lineman rush, send the linebacker just for Anderson.
That hacksaw was taped when he had his eggs for breakfast. Third down, 11. They put Kreider in motion. Anderson looking for time, throws. He has Ross. He had a first down at one time. 49ers knocked him backwards, and he had to come back to catch the pass.
This will be an interesting spot, because if he catches the ball there and he's knocked backwards, it should be a first down, but it's not. Now, watch this. Here's Dan Ross. You see, he's going to drive upfield on Carlton Williamson, then drive back and make the catch. Now, to catch that ball, to beat Williamson, he had to work back a little, and that lost him the first down. So this is a big, big one, fourth and about a foot.
They're going to go. You question this at all, John?
I think this is going to go to Pete Johnson.
Johnson rambles for the first down to the 3. Jack Reynolds stopped him. First down, Cincinnati. Excuse me, I was just going to ask you if you think Forrest Gregg ever had any doubt about going for it.
I don't think he did. When you have a fullback like Pete Johnson, who weighs over 250 pounds, you're playing in the Super Bowl, you have to be able to make a yard. You see, he gets a lead block there by Alexander, and you see when he hits that pile, the whole pile went backwards.
Cincinnati has 8 first downs in this quarter. San Francisco has 0. None.
What a difference a half makes.
Wow. Anderson up quickly. 49ers get in a late substitute. Anderson puts a man in motion. He again gives to Johnson, and Pete gets down close. Looks like he's about a half yard short.
Now, that was an interesting formation. It was a split backfield. Now watch that. You see they get the motion to get a little thing in the secondary there, and they just hand to Pete Johnson, who's just straight ahead, man-to-man blocking. We see Blair Bush, number 58, does an excellent job of getting Johnson a little crease.
Bush put the block and the knock and the takedown on Archie Reese. Second down and goal for Cincinnati. Ball inside the 1. Johnson again. This time he is hit by Jack Reynolds and knocked backwards, if you can believe that.
We talk about Jack Reynolds and the way that he studies. He knows down here. Watch his determination. Look at that. This is goal line. This brings out everything in a person. Now watch it. He's watching Pete Johnson right away. He sees him. He goes right to the hole, turns up when Johnson does, meets him square, and that's the end of Pete Johnson's going forward.
Reynolds led with his head, and he stays. 11th play in this drive coming up. Anderson will look and throw. Alexander does not get in. Dan Buns is the 49er who hit him at the half-yard line. They got to go again, and that's what Forrest Gregg has already said. Go for it.
Well, he's going to take a timeout because he wants to, 1, he has fourth down. He only has 1 play. He wants to, 1, talk about it, and 2, make sure that he's making the right decision.
He needs a half yard.
This was a great tackle by Dan Buns. He's a backup linebacker. Over the years, he has been a starter, but this should have been a touchdown here. When this is completed here, Alexander turns, and Buns was right there. Ooh, that's great coverage on the goal line.
Outstanding. Outstanding. That's what they have left. Just less than a yard. Anderson over talking with the offensive coordinators and with Forrest Gregg. Bill Walsh has to be wondering about, I suppose, philosophy, although you can't question what he's done. He hadn't had anything to work with.
He's thinking he hasn't had a first down this half. You know what would be a pretty good play, Ken, here while you're going in, is fake the ball to Pete Johnson, keep it yourself, and bootleg it into the end zone. I think that would get it.
Well, what about continuing with that? If somebody forces Anderson, he might have somebody in the end zone. Breech is getting ready, just in case.
I think Breech is getting ready to kick off.
that's exactly what Forrest Gregg has in mind for him at the moment. Forrest Gregg is quite a man, really. You hear a lot of talk about him being such a strict disciplinarian, and he admits it because he said, I've seen it succeed. Let's see if Kenny Anderson can succeed. They give to Johnson, and I don't know. The 49ers don't think he made it.
Who's on the bottom of that pile? Jack Reynolds again, number 64. Watch this. Now everyone gets low. It's goal line. Defense gets low. They beat them down there. The defense beat the offense. You see them, they got underneath the offensive line and got penetration. Watch these first moves to the defensive linemen. They're down low. Now Hacksaw can come over the top and stop the penetration.
There were a lot of folks on the bottom, and Hacksaw was on the top. That's a team effort for San Francisco's defense.
Introducing the back of the Toyota SR5 truck. With a 7-foot bed, it's all business. And now the front of this Toyota SR5 long bed with 100 horses of muscle and power.
And in between, it's all pleasure with a sports cab you've got to sit in to appreciate.
The Toyota SR5 truck. It mixes business with pleasure.
Oh, what a feeling, Toyota.
Navigating through changing tax laws is never smooth sailing. The investment executives at Shearson American Express are experienced hands who know these waters well and can help set the right course for you. To reach safe harbor, look to the new flagship of the financial world, Shearson American Express, bound for new horizons.
Pat Summerall with John Madden, Super Bowl 16, brought to you by CBS Sports. 49ers lining up in their own end zone, a great goal line stand by their defensive cohorts. They lead 20-7. The give is to Ring. He gets out to about the 3 or 3.5. Glenn Cameron, the tackler. Let's look at that goal line play again.
Watch this again. Watch this play. All those white jerseys look like the whole 49er defense was there. And then watch after the play when they know that they stopped. And watch Ronnie Lott here, number 42. Look at Archie Reese. He's staying down there and exciting. He's the leader of that type of group.
They just flat beat him off the ball. The defense beat the offense off the ball. Second down for Montana and his offense. Ring again. Ring is tripped up and hit down at about the 8. Bobby Kemp, Cincinnati's tackler. It'll be third down.
You know, that series and that drive is one that's going to be talked about a long time when you talk about Super Bowl 16. It was a great drive by the Bengals. They had 12 plays. They had the ball for 5 minutes and 36 seconds.
That's Leclerc, who seems to have injured his left knee. And he is being looked at. A 10-year pro. Cincinnati, up until this present drive right here, had outgained San Francisco 138 yards to 3 yards. Max Montoya with the ice pack on the left knee. Leclerc's up. Big third down play for San Francisco. They don't have a first down in this half yet. 22 seconds left to play in the third quarter. See if we can see what happened.
Looked like he hyperextended his knee on this play. We'll see 55 right there. You see him, he takes on the block. Now watch his knee buckle under, and then he goes back right over both of his knees.
Rick Razzano will take his place. 10-year veteran Leclerc comes out. Third down, the 49ers need 3 for a first. The line of scrimmage is the 8-yard line. Montana, of course, gets his signals from the sideline. He'll have Ricky Patton and Earl Cooper as his 2 running backs.
He probably won't run a play. They'll wait for the third quarter to end. They'll just stay in the huddle until the gun goes off for the third quarter.
Now, Montana already has headed for the bench as the third quarter winds down. And that's it. The gun ends it. 138 yards to 3, not including that last sequence by San Francisco in the third quarter. They lead 20-7.
Seems it's always been like this. The last car in the lot has been yours. And now all that hard work and all those long hours have paid off in recognition, in financial success, and in the way you reward yourself. Isn't it time you owned a Cadillac? After all, who deserves one more than you?
Best of all, it's a Cadillac.
Your first frosty glass of Schaefer beer. Nothing could be more satisfying. Nothing. Except for your second Schaefer and every single Schaefer after that.
Schaefer is the one beer to have.